People think wrestling is so easy, and it ain't easy. Probably harder than anything I did in football.
It's not my fault.
What an incredible beard you have.
Thank you for noticing. It is pretty majestic.
Maybe you should have had this in WWE.
We could have did a lot of things at WWE. I think I was very underutilized. They pretty much gave me shit, and I turned it into roses every single time.
I can't believe they had you punt a baby.
That's one of the things I'm known for. Have you ever tried to kick a baby doll?
I can't say I've tried.
It's not easy.
That version of your character in ECW was unnerving.
As a performer, portraying a character, if I had that effect on somebody, then I was doing a good job of it.
That match with Maven, that's an accident, right?
He was supposed to. It makes for good television, but that was nasty.
WWE brought back so many people. How did that not happen with you?
I don't know. You have to ask them.
We're finally doing this.
Like they say, Chris, good things come to those who wait.
It's been like, I think like 2 years ago, we were in the same area and I'm like, we should do an interview at some point in time.
Yeah.
You've got such a fascinating story.
Ironically, we had spoken about where your relatives live in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And you were trying to get out there, and then I was trying to get out to you.
Yes.
And logistics. And it just didn't jive. We weren't on the same level there as far as scheduling. So, but here we are.
Here we are. And I'm glad you made it.
So am I.
Like, you were telling me about what happened yesterday.
I had an interesting trip. Basically, a 2-hour flight from Philly to Indianapolis turned into a whole day of hoping that I make it to Indianapolis alive, because we had a fire emergency landing in Pittsburgh, and that's the last thing you really want to hear when you're flying somewhere.
So you're on the plane, just having a normal flight, and then out of nowhere?
I was actually watching Varsity Blues, the movie. I had my headphones on, just chilling.
What a movie.
Yeah. And I could see the stewardess like doing these brace for impact things. And I'm like, they don't usually do that. So I pulled my earphone. And I'm like, we may be having a crash landing and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what? So like, you know, your mind starts like racing and you're like, it was crazy, dude. Like, never in all of my life I thought I'd be in that situation on a little 2-hour flight. You know, we literally took off from Philly, emergency landed in Pittsburgh.
And your mind starts racing, right?
Dude, it was like, whew, yeah. Like everything goes through your mind. Like I texted my wife, she's a mess. Like,
oh, I can't even imagine sending that text to my wife. We're having an emergency landing because there's a fire on the plane.
Yeah. Dude, it was like, yeah. Yeah, like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it makes you think about a lot of things.
Yeah. Not to get emotional, but.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you made it here.
Me too.
Wow. Wearing your best Batman shirt, too.
Well,
look at that.
There is no best Batman shirt. All Batman shirts are amazing. But yes, this happens to be one of my all-time favorites from the. I actually got this about 20-some years ago at the. I think it's called the Steamtown Mall in St. Louis. The Grand Station Mall. The one under the train station there in St. Louis. We were wrestling there. And I got this one and a Spider-Man one. So they've lasted the test of time. They've held up well. But yes, I am a big Batman fan.
And I don't think we can see it on camera, but your shoes are the Batman logo, the vintage Batman logo, 66 Batman. But it says Snitsky instead of Batman.
Well, it is my official logo now because I'm such a big Batman guy, physically and realistically.
Who's your favorite Batman?
Adam West.
Okay.
I used to run home from school to see the show.
With pow, bam.
Oh, it's tremendous.
Splat.
And it was always like the cliffhanger ending. So they always like, they dangled that carrot. So they had like, I'd literally run home so I wouldn't miss any of the episodes.
Will the Caped Crusader.
Yeah. Same bat time.
Same bat channel.
It was like, oh. And I used to hate the cliffhanger ending. But it was like, that's why I said, like, I'd run home for the next episode after school to make sure I didn't miss a single minute of it. Because at the start, they would show you how they escaped. So you can't miss the start.
So how much of this is just pure nostalgia for you?
You know, I'm a big Batman collector, as we were talking about before we started filming. And I have a lot of, like, one-off things that are super cool. And it's more of, like, a hobby, I guess. But I've just always, like, you know, as a kid, I would put my Spider-Man wrist slinger on and run through the house. Hey, Mom, watch this. Shh, shh. Like, it's just always doing stuff like that. And Batman and Superman, like all the superheroes, just loved all that stuff. I loved, like, just the gadgets. Like, Batman's my favorite because he has the coolest gadgets. Like, he is, like, you know, multimillionaire.
Yeah.
Has all the cool stuff. He's got the Batmobile. Like, the Batmobile is freaking awesome. Like, that's, you know, the car. Whenever you hear Batman, that's generally what people think.
I love the line when Ben Affleck is Batman. It's like, what's your superpower? I'm rich.
Yeah, like literally. It's cool. And he has a mansion. And, you know, what's funny about the TV show is they had like the red telephone and it'd be like Anne Harriet. Like, how did she not know he was Batman? Come on. Come on, Anne Harriet. Golly. It was always so funny to me. Like, how does she not know it's him?
What's your favorite Batman movie?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I got a lot of cool collectible 1989 Batman stuff.
Okay.
So probably that one.
Yeah, Michael Keaton.
Yeah. I just got a big metal die-cast one. Not too long ago. That's probably the most recent one of those I have. I actually have the old school remote control one. They got Toy Biz, I think it was.
Wow.
Yeah. And it works. I just don't ever drive it. It just sits on my shelf. But I got a really cool, from the Justice League, I have the big giant Batman. And it has the action figure in the cockpit, and you could actually, there's an app that you can watch it, and it smokes and lights. Oh, it's crazy. A guy gave it to me for my wedding, a wedding gift.
Man.
It's freaking awesome.
What's the prized possession in your Batman collection?
Oh, it's probably two things. I have a artist print from Bob Kane, and I have my giant Batman who greets everybody at the Snitsky compound.
Like right when you walk in?
Yeah, he's bigger than me. The big molded foam, whatever it is, but yeah, he's pretty awesome.
And if he's bigger than you, that's big.
He's tall. He's about 6'8". But yeah, that's like my prized possession. I told you guys the funny story before we got on camera, but I got it at a Comic-Con as part of my pay. And I started putting it in my car, and my wife's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm taking it home." "What do you mean you're taking it home?" I'm like, "Yeah, part of my pay for the gig." And she's like, "Where are you going with that?" I was like, "Right in the living room." And she's like, "Oh." So, and I showed you guys a picture, so it's right in the living room.
So your wife is in on this too.
Well, she has no choice. She's guilty by association. But I get her a lot of cool Wonder Woman stuff. She's got a lot of cool, like, one-off Wonder Woman things, and like I'm always looking for that unique item that I've never seen before. And then if I come across it, I'll grab it and bring it home. But yeah, I'm in the unique stuff, so.
Yeah, well, you showed me your wedding photo before we started rolling.
Well, my awesome wife, Carolyn, and I got married as Batman and Robin, vintage Batman and Robin, 1966. But yeah, it's funny. My friend was the judge. Excuse me. Just had a big breakfast. And so I called him. I'm like, "Hey, Jimmy, can I, come by and get married with the wife on Halloween?" He's like, "Sure." Never telling him the gig, So her and I show up in full costume. I'm hiding by the chamber. He comes out. He's like, "I'm not surprised." He shook his head. It's kind of funny because, like I said, everybody knows that I'm a big Batman guy, and like fans send me stuff, and it's kind of taken on a life of its own. But it's cool because it's like, as a kid, you're seeing all these cool toys, and like I had the Batcave when I was a kid. I'm trying to find a vintage one of those. Anybody out there watching, if they have a vintage, with a working bat signal though. That's the hard part.
Okay.
You can find them, but they don't have the working bat signal. But anyways, I play with that stuff for hours as kids. And just as always like, I'm a pro wrestler, so we're larger than life characters. We think of ourselves as superheroes, stuntmen, actors, so it's kind of, it fit my personality as a kid. And then I just evolved into, amazing Snitsky now.
Have you thought about buying a Batmobile?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a guy in Jersey I was telling you guys about earlier that has them. He makes them, and I'll have one someday.
Okay.
My wife just doesn't know it yet.
Are you in better shape now than when you were wrestling? Like you're jacked now.
Aesthetically, probably.
Okay.
I mean, I've always kept myself in pretty good cardio, like condition, wrestling shape, but I'm one of those guys, man. I was like, I played football at a young age, basketball, baseball. I was always playing sports, and I always wanted to be the best and look the best. And, I'm very competitive. My wife, she'll tell you some horror stories. 'Cause even with my wife, I can't, I hate losing at anything. Like anything. I'm just sometimes too competitive. But so, I always like to look good. I like to perform well. So it just that's just how I've always been. Like I said, I had a football background. Was first team All-State in Pennsylvania back when they still did the whole state. Now it's like a small school, big school thing. But I was like All-State for the whole state. First team, defensive end, got a full scholarship. Went off to Missouri, played for Andy Reid. He was my offensive line coach in Missouri.
That's wild.
And then went off to the Chargers, went to camp with them, tore my labrum. Took a year off to rehab, got my surgery, came back, played for the Birmingham Barracudas in the CFL. That was 95, and then retired that year, got into wrestling in 96, and trained at the Wild Samoan Pro Wrestling Training Center in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And to make a 29-year career short, here we are.
How different would your career look if you had not got injured and continued down the football path?
Well, hindsight's always 20/20.
Sure.
And I mean, I considered myself an elite athlete at the time. I was playing offensive tackle. I went to the NFL combines, the whole 9 yards.
What was your 40 time?
I was going to say I ran a 4.9 840 at 320 pounds, so I was moving pretty good. I played a lot of basketball, so I always had good feet. And actually got a lot of Division I offers for basketball too, but I figured, with my size, 6'6", I have a better chance of going pro football than pro basketball. Because I played in the Keystone State games. I was a starting center for the Northeast region of Pennsylvania, believe it or not, as a 6'6" white guy. So I could hoop. I was always really good at basketball. Just came natural. Like I was always good at basketball and baseball and football. But I was, I always wanted to be a professional athlete. So I was like, well, I'll stick with football. It's my best chance. But I mean, not to sound arrogant or anything, but I could have probably went pro in all the sports because I was pretty good. I just got inducted into the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame in 2018.
Hey, congrats.
So, yeah, thanks.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. What an incredible beard you have. Look at this.
Well, it's slightly incredible today, Chris, because I've had a long day of traveling. I didn't get a chance to refluff it, like they say in the industry.
What industry is that?
But thank you for noticing.
How could you not notice it? Look at this thing. Like it's down to your belly button.
It's due for a trim. It's starting to get caught on my belt. And that's when the wife knows it's time to trim it. But yeah, my wife braids it for me. She takes care of it. It's like, her project, so to speak.
Okay.
Because I started growing it and I didn't think anything of it. Because, I don't need to shave. I don't, nobody's, I don't have an office job. So just kind of kept growing and growing. Literally it grew on me. And she liked it. Started braiding it. And I was like, it looks pretty cool. So.
But when you have a beard like that, it becomes part of your personality. Like you are, to people who don't know who you are and don't know what you've done in your career, you're the guy with the big beard.
Ironically, it is part of my logo. The Snitsky Batman logo has you can't see it on the sneakers, but my t-shirt, my merch, my 8x10s, all the official Snitsky stuff has that logo on it, but it has, instead of the Batman face in the middle of the Batman logo, it's got my face with my beard. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like when someone has a beard like that is...
It is pretty majestic, if I say so myself. When it's not braided, it's pretty hard to tame.
Maybe you should have had this in WWE. You were starting it.
We could have did a lot of things at WWE that we didn't do. Not to beat a dead horse, but I think I was very underutilized for the talents that I had and the performances that I gave, because they pretty much gave me shit and I turned it into roses every single time. So, I mean, to be quite honest.
Oh, would you look at this right here? Rocket Money just saved me $240 on my cable bill. Great news, Chris. Our expert negotiators were able to save you $240. That's a savings of $20 per month for 12 months. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. And with that $240 that I just saved, Rocket Money did that for me. I didn't have to do anything. They talked to customer service. They got me the discount. It was just a nice surprise in my email box to go, oh, well, would you look at that? Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when they use all of the app's premium features. So cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Download the Rocket Money app and tell them that you heard about it on our show in the survey. Say Insight with Chris Van Vliet. Don't wait. Download the Rocket Money app today and tell them you heard about it right here on the show.
Where did it start with WWE? How did you even get that opportunity with Kane?
So, like I said, I trained at the Wild Samoan Pro Wrestling Training Center in Allentown. Pops Alpha was my mentor. He brought me up to Wilkes-Barre at the time for a house show. And myself and another gentleman had a dark match. Tommy Suede, he was also training. He was also training at the Samoans. And him and I had our dark match. That was October of 2003. Let's see, January, March, April, May. About May of 2004, Johnny Ace called me. And he's like, hey, we're going to bring you in. We're going to have you move to Louisville, blah, blah, blah. And I was literally sitting in my underwear. And I was like, ah! I'm running around the house in my underwear. My mom's like, what the hell is wrong with you? I'm like, I just got signed. It was like winning the lottery. It was crazy.
Sure.
Yeah. Like, I can still vividly see it in my head, like sitting there in my underwear on the phone with Johnny and like running down the steps and around the house. So then June, I moved to Louisville. Started Louisville as Mean Gene Mondo. I was Mike Mondo's little brother. And we did a gimmick together. And then just one day, Fit Finley came down to OVW on a Wednesday and worked me out in the ring. And I wrestled probably 30 matches that day. You know, one as a heel, one as a baby, worked the arm, worked the shoulder, worked the neck, blah, blah, blah. Like every single scenario you could think of, I had a match to show Fit what I could do. So Fit, I guess, apparently liked what he saw, went back to the office and gave me the thumbs up. And that weekend, Howard, the awesome Howard Finkel, called me and told me I'd be traveling to Seattle. And I was like, sweet. And I didn't know what I'd be doing. I had no idea. They just told me I needed to be at TV. So that's what I did. Went to TV, hung out in catering, waited till somebody came to get me. Dean Malenko came over and he's like, Vince needs you at the ring. I'm like, okay. Go out, walked in, like, this is kind of cool. So it's me, Lita, Kane, Vince, you know, the producers, and like we're walking through this scenario of, you know, the match and blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, and then you're going to hit him with a chair. He's going to fall on Lita, you're going to miscarriage and da-da-da. I'm like, I'm not thinking anything of it. I'm just happy to be there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, this is great.
Was it supposed to just be a one-off thing?
That's what I had heard. They never like came out and told me that. Excuse me. But in past tense, that's what I had heard. But apparently it probably was, because the next week I'm at training and we're doing our drills. And freaking Tommy Dreamer's like, hey, Vince just called. They're wondering where you're at. I'm like, yeah, okay. I think he's ribbing me.
Yeah.
You know, what if, you know, can we curse?
Sure. Say whatever
Like,
you want.
why the fuck would Vince want to be calling, looking for me? Like, that's what I'm thinking. And he's like, no, you got to get the Raw. I'm like, yeah, okay. So I'm still doing it. And he's finally come up to the ring. He's like, you have to go. I'm like, are you fucking ribbing me? He's like, no, you got to get to the airport. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I go like literally we were staying at this hotel and shut back to my room, got all my shit together. And I'm like literally OJing it through the airport, running. I'm soaked through my clothes. I get to the door. They're starting to close the door. I'm like, I got to get on that flight. So I get on that flight, which I got all sweated for nothing because I ran there, get on that flight. That flight's delayed. So we're sitting there. I'm soaked through my clothes. I'm like, I'm not going to make my connection. So I'm calling the office. I'm like, hey, you know, I don't think I'm going to make my connection in Dallas. They're like, okay, well, call us when you get there. I'm like, all right. I get to Dallas. I call them. Missed the connection. They're like, take the shuttle over to the private jet area. They're going to fly the WWE corporate jet to get you. I was like, sweet. I'm glad I missed the flight. So I take the shuttle over. I'm sitting there at the corporate jet area. Well, here comes the WWE jet. I'm like, this is freaking cool.
Like they sent it just for
you?
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know if somebody got fired over that, but it was a very costly mistake for not getting my travel that week. But yeah, so I get on the WWE corporate jet. Dave Lagana, it was the agent they sent to get me. So he's going over all the stuff we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. So I ultimately get to Arizona and I just do an interview with JR. And that's kind of where the catchphrase started. Because he was like, you know, you were in the ring, you know, don't you feel bad that, you know, Lita lost her baby, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, it's not my fault she was in there. She shouldn't have been in the ring. Literally, that's just off the top of my head.
It wasn't written?
Nah. And then that just took off. Stephanie came to me the next week. She's like, we're going to have you cut a promo every time before you do a match and always say it's not your fault. I'm like, okay. Like, that's literally how it started. It's crazy. And now every day of my life, I get it at least 10 times a day. I wish I had $1 every time I heard it. Seriously, it's nuts. Like at the shop, people will come, it's not my fault. I'm like, eh. So it just kind of took a life of its own.
Well, and it's fitting for every scenario.
Well, that's the beauty of it, Chris, because, you know, organically, when things happen, they're usually the best. Like they always tell you in wrestling, try to be a character as close as yourself as possible.
Sure.
Because that's, you know, more believable. So I just kind of went out and did my thing. And it's funny because, you know, going back to the thing with Kane, I could vividly remember him saying, now when you hit me with the chair, hit me. Like, hit me. I'm like, okay, I will, don't worry. Yeah. Like that was his, like he wanted it to look as real as possible so that when he, you know, fell on her. And dude, he's amazing. Like just the timing of it, the way he fell on her, the body language, like watching it back, it's crazy. Like that, how good that came out. Like I've never worked with him before. That could have been a disaster.
Sure.
Like literally, we're on live TV. That could have been a disaster. Like who the fuck's this Snitsky guy? Get him the fuck out of here. You know, like anything could have happened. And I can just remember like I'm laying there and I see him going over to Lita and I'm like, grab the chair. And I'm like, I'm going to hit this motherfucker as hard as I could. I whacked him and he's like, after he hit me, just disappear. I'm like, okay. So I fucking whacked him. Down he goes. Literally by the time I roll out of the ring and start like incognitoing out of the area, I could hear, baby killer, like chant start. And I'm like, this is great. Because I, you know, obviously as a heel, that's what you want. So when I heard that, I was like, ooh, this might be pretty good.
I can't believe they had you punt a baby.
Well, here's the thing, Chris. Going back to like I was saying about football and all that, I was actually an all-area punter my junior year of high school. I averaged like 37 yards as a junior in high school. So I always had the leg to do it. And ironically, like all these years later, like that's one of the things I'm known for. It's kind of funny because I was a legit all-area punter back in the day. So it's kind of funny.
Did they know this when they were setting that up?
No. Like I said, man, I sat in catering and just waited for somebody to come and get me. And Dean Malenko came and got me and said they need you in the ring. Like that's literally, you know, for the first shot. But when we were doing the baby thing, like Vince was there as well with that. And a little bit of a funny story. We're walking through it and, you know, Vince was like, then you're going to kick the baby into the crowd. I'm like, cool. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to try to kick it as high as I could to hit the Tron thing up top. And then they give me the baby. I'm like, man, that's going to be kind of hard to do. Because, you know, have you ever tried to kick a baby doll? It's not easy.
I can't say.
Well, you should. You should give it a try.
I can't say I've tried.
But it's crazy, man. Like you think, you know, it shouldn't be that hard. But it's actually pretty hard to kick a baby doll. But anyways, so in my head, I'm thinking, I'm gonna whack the shit out of this thing. I'm gonna kick it as high as I can. And then Vince is like, whatever you do, don't miss the baby. Make sure you kick it. I'm like, listen, Mr. McMahon, I was all area punter in high school. This is gonna be fucking amazing. And he just looked at me like, ah. I'm like, and then just left it at that. And then we went out, we did it in the whole spiel, and I went back to the curtain. He gives me a big hug. He's like, that was great. I'm like, I told you. like I don't have a confidence issue. I'm pretty confident in my ability, so I knew it was going to be great.
I wonder if the fan who caught it still has the baby.
I don't think he does because, ironically, Chris, if you watch the footage back, I'm kind of giving Lita the evil eye, and I kind of go like this. He threw it back at me, and it skimmed right over top of my head. So, yeah, he didn't like it. That poor baby.
Didn't you recently kick a baby?
Well, I don't want to talk about that. Oh, a fake baby to me.
A baby doll?
Well, only when they deserve it. The real ones.
It's not your fault.
Yeah. No, it's funny when one of my friends came to me. He's like, "Hey, we should do this baby punting competition." I'm like, "Okay." 'Cause, like, I don't care. It's like I was always a class clown kind of guy,
And it's your thing.
Just want to have fun and goof around, you know. So I'm like, "Sure, that's great." So yeah, we started doing baby punting competitions. And he went all out and got a belt made, and it was freaking awesome, dude. Like to me, it's funny because like I didn't think anything of it at the time, you know. And 21 years later, I'm sitting here with the amazing Chris Van Vliet.
Close, Van Vliet.
It's
okay.
Wondering how
we should have practiced that before.
We should have, but it's not my fault. Just saying. See, I told you it works for everything. But yes, so here I am with you now, and 21 years later, still talking about it, still making money off it, still people wanting to hear about it. So as a performer, that's great because as a performer, you want to, you know, touch someone's emotions enough to where they care that much about it.
Well, it's become your legacy.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know how to like respond to that. It's just like when I got into wrestling, I never in a million years would have thought, you know, that whole storyline just being thrown into it. Because I had never done a dark match. I was never like, nobody knew who I was. I was just there. And then all of a sudden, I'm the biggest heel on the show. It's crazy. Like literally that quick.
How does that morph from that storyline into the foot fetish storyline?
Well, in real life, I like ladies' feet. And it's funny because my wife, when we first got together, and I was like, you got to take your shoes off. I have to see your feet because there won't be a second date if you have ugly feet.
This is the first date?
Yeah.
Take your shoes off?
Yeah. I get right to the point, Chris. There's there's no beating around the bush.
You like what you like.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to stay with somebody who has ugly feet just because. You know.
What's an ugly foot?
Well, beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Okay.
So I would have to behold some feet to make a proper judgment.
Like we don't like bunions.
Well, I don't have any pictures of my wife's feet, or I'd show you.
I'm okay.
That's the.
I don't want to.
That's the foot.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and she's tall. She's 6'1". She played college volleyball. Nice size 10.
What a tall couple you guys are.
I was joking with her. I'm like, man, I wish I would have met you 30 years ago. I'd be retired. I would have had 5 kids, a basketball team, and I'd never do anything. Because her one daughter from her first husband is 6'2". Her daughter. Now imagine if she had my amazing sperm. The kid would be 7 foot, no doubt about it. And jacked and ruggedly handsome.
Of course.
And a great personality.
So who in WWE found out that you had a foot fetish and made it part
I went
of
to
your
Vince.
gimmick?
I went right to Vince because they were like, come to us with ideas, come to us with, you know, storylines, blah, blah, blah. And I know Vince, he's kind of off the wall. He's a little wacky. So I was like, I'm going to tell him about the foot fetish and see if we could incorporate it into the character somehow. And I was like, Mr. McMahon, I got this idea, blah, blah, blah. Told him my idea, and he was like, in a second, he's like, that's great. We'll do it. We'll start incorporating it in. Like literally that quick. Yeah. So that's kind of how that started. Yeah. Just trying to be different, trying to stand out a little bit. Because at the time, it was just kind of like, you know, revolving door. Guys were coming and going. I mean, I was there for 5 years, but I saw a lot of guys come and go. So just to differentiate, you know, and the baby thing was kind of off the wall. So, you know, let's keep the string going.
Man,
and then I did the tag team thing with Goldust for a while. And we were like all the oddities and all that kind of stuff. Got to suck Mae Young's toes in WrestleMania. Remember that? She loved it.
How'd you feel about it?
It was a job.
You licked Maria Kanellis' feet?
Sort of. We were playing it's the little piggy went to the market thing, I think it is. Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
This little piggy went to the market.
This little piggy stayed home.
Yeah, one poor piggy didn't get any roast beef. Terrible. Poor guy. Probably the runt of the litter. But yeah, so, you know, just trying to differentiate, get TV time. Because, I mean, no offense, but if the writers can't do something with this, they shouldn't be writing pro wrestling. Because I'm a walking character. Good guy, bad guy, I could do it all. Just give me something to work with and I'll make it work.
Is this going back to what you were saying earlier? Like that you were not given great opportunities, but you did the best you could?
It just, the Kane storyline was so hot. Like, I don't think they knew where to go from there. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm the new guy. Nobody knew me. I came in right away, top heel, you know, over like Rover, everywhere we went. And I think it was just one of those things where you get lost in the shuffle. The storyline ran its course, and they're like, "Oh, now what do we do with them?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there was a few things like, with the Goldust thing, like he had some personal issues at the time that he was dealing with, so that was like going really well. We're like doing really well, and then he had to step away. So then I was back to now what? But then when they did the thing with ECW with me, I was like, oh, good, we got some momentum now because I ran out Squash Lashley, Squash Punk, like I'm taking out all the top guys, and I'm like, this is great. I had my my new look, my character changed. I was more sadistic and psychotic, and then I'm walking in the hall and Steph comes up to me, hey, we're going to draft you back to Monday Night Raw. My dad thinks you're just doing such a great job. I'm like, well, yeah, so why don't I just stay at ECW? Like, I didn't say it to her, but I'm thinking to myself, like, why don't I just stay at ECW then? Like, I was making, some headway there. But yeah, I think that was the turning point, because it was like I was doing so good on ECW, and then they brought me back to Raw. And I was looking like Vince had me shave all my hair off, my eyebrows, like everything. And I would put Vaseline over myself to look even creepier. And like basically what Glenn was doing, So I was like, well, you do realize I'm going to be looking just like Glenn. And then, Vince was like, it's all right.
How do they even pitch you this idea of like, you're going to shave your eyebrow? You're going to shave everything, including your eyebrow.
It wasn't really pitched. It's kind of weird. Like I'm out at the ring working out. And Vince was waving me over. I'm like, hey, Mr. McMahon. And he's like, hey, go home and shave all your hair off, even your eyebrows, and go over to the makeup lady and see if she could get something to make your teeth look nasty. I'm like, okay. Like, I wasn't feeling it, but you don't tell Vince McMahon no.
And there's no explanation for this?
No. I guess maybe because of the ECW thing coming up, and he knew they were going to be drafting me to ECW. That's the only thing I can think of. Because I got like a whole, new character. I got a new action figure, a whole 9 yards. So I was like, I'll just, I'll go with it. But I literally had to get my teeth like dry, paint the shit on my teeth every night. Like,
you had to do that?
Yeah.
What were you painting on your teeth?
I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't cause cancer. But it's like in a little nail polish jar, like ladies' nail polish. And I would like take it out and paint it on my teeth. I forget exactly what it's called, but it's like from a makeup company in New York.
Yeah, your teeth were janky.
Yeah. But it was cool because I got a centerfold in the magazine that they sent me. I have it framed at my house. So that's kind of cool. And like I said, I got the action figures. I mean, in hindsight, I still got to do a lot of cool shit, but I think I could have done a lot more cool shit.
Well, that version of your character in ECW was, you were unnerving.
Yeah.
Like it was hard to look at you.
It's funny because I actually had somebody say that to me the other day. They're like, man, when I was a kid, I was so scared of you, but you're such a nice guy. I'm like, thanks. Because that's, as a performer, you're portraying a character.
Yeah.
So if I had that much effect on somebody, then I know I was doing a good job of it.
This episode is brought to you by Blue Chew. Does it work? Well, find out for yourself. They're making it so easy. Your first month is free when you use the code CVV at BlueChew.com. Just sign up there at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped directly to your door. The best part is this is all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. They say there's nothing sexier than confidence. Well, Blue Chew gives you the confidence where it really counts. Make life easier by getting harder. And discover your options at BlueChew.com. Like I said, they've got a special deal going on right now for anybody watching this. Try your first month of Blue Chew for free with the code CVV. You just have to pay $5 for shipping. That's code CVV. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and all of the important safety information. And a big thank you to Blue Chew for sponsoring the show.
People still remember that backstage segment you had with Heidenreich.
Oh, dude.
Why were you guys so close to each other?
I don't know why. Like, I don't know. Like, they came to me and they're like, you got this segment with Heidenreich. I'm like, sweet. And Paulie was with Heidenreich at the time. And we're going towards the angle with me and him and Glenn and Mark. And dude, I don't even know. It just turned into like creepy homoerotic shit. But it was kind of, I mean, it got the point across. it did what we wanted to do.
Yeah, there was a lot of like sexual tension in that
Yeah, it's
scene.
kind of weird. Like watching it back, I like doing it. I didn't think anything of it, but watching it back, I'm like, that's kind of creepy. But that's what we were going for. So, but it's funny because he's like, I like what you do to babies. Like, I like your poetry. It's funny though. And then like the poem I did for Edge and Lita's wedding, that was pretty good too.
Do you still remember it?
Oh yeah, most of it. Yeah. But another funny story with Vince. They get me this tuxedo to wear, so I'm like, wow, I can't just wear a tuxedo. That's too plain. So I'm like, rip the arms off it. They're like, well, we have to clear it with Vince. I'm like, okay. So we go in and I'm like, hey, Mr. McMahon, blah blah blah, and it was a rental. And he's like, okay. So off went the sleeves. There goes the rentals. So I don't know what that ended up costing the company, but it was pretty funny because it was a rental tux and they ripped the sleeves right off it. It was great.
Did you write that poem?
No, I wish. No, it was pretty good. Let me see if I can remember.
Yeah, let's see.
If you give me the first line, I would remember.
I don't know.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But anyway, one of the lines was, it's not my fault what love can do to us, just like it's not my fault that you had a dead baby in your uterus. That was one of the lines of the poem. Yeah, but there's another one too. It's not my fault love chose this direction. It's not my fault Kane can't get an erection. It's like the best poem ever. Like, it's just so, like all the shit I did was so fun. Like inside I'm laughing. Like I'm having a blast. I try to stay in character. Like I know the line's coming up with the erection and I'm like, this is freaking weird. Like, where else can you do that? Like on live TV. It's tremendous.
You had that match with Maven. Does he bust you open? That's an accident, right?
Yeah, that was the hard way. He was supposed to come flying off with a flying forearm to my chest. The flying forearm turned into a flying elbow into my eye socket, and I just heard a crunch. And I was like, fuck. And by the time I rolled over, I already had blood squirting out of my fucking eye. I can't see straight. I'm seeing like triple. I'm blinking, like trying to see, because I had to hit him with a chair, Jericho with a chair, and Orton with a chair after that. And I can't see.
Well, there's a huge gash above your eye.
It makes for good television, but man, that was fucking nasty. Like I had a big chunk of skin just hanging down. And it was, I couldn't see straight for about a month. I broke my orbital bone, actually. So, yeah, it was pretty juicy. But yeah, I pretty much, I got Maven back with the chair shot.
Yeah, you put a little extra into that chair shot.
Well, there is this unwritten rule in wrestling, Chris.
This is a receipt.
Yeah. I bent the chair pretty good over his head. But
he took it.
Oh, he knew he was taking it. He had no choice. And then I think I hit Jericho next, and then Orton. But yeah, I'm like thinking to myself, man, I hope I hit them square because I can't see really. I got blood in my eye. I'm seeing like three Jerichos standing there, and I'm just like, oh, here we go. I'm at, it is what it is. But I think ultimately it came out pretty good.
Yeah, you've had some very memorable moments like that.
Ironically, I did, and it's kind of cool because I'm just a kid from Nesquehoning. So it's kind of cool because I would walk around telling people, you're going to see me on Sunday in the NFL or Monday on Monday Night Raw, like as a kid. And they look at me like I had fucking 3 heads. But then they're the same ones that come, hey, can I get an autograph from my nephew?
Yeah.
So it was great. I was like, yeah, I'll give you an autograph.
The Royal Rumble elimination.
Yeah, that was, I dare say it's the top elimination ever, in my opinion. Not because I was involved in it, but because it's just the crowd reaction, the bump, like all things taken into consideration, I don't think anything else really matches it.
Well, we'd never seen something like that before.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool because Paul and I he took me off to the side and we're like, hey, what do you want to do? And he's like, well, this and this. I'm like, let's try this. And then it evolved into that. And he's like, well, just clothesline me off. Because I wanted to clothesline him somehow to make it like impactful. And he's like, well, why don't you just clothesline me off the apron? I'm like, okay, well, how do you want to do it? He's like, well, I'll miss something, blah, blah, blah. And then just hit me and I'll flip off the apron. I'm like, sweet, but I'm going to have to clothesline you hard, right? Pretty much in the face to get the
The momentum.
Because if I was lower, he wouldn't have room to flip. You know what I'm saying? So I had to hit him high so he could get up and still rotate.
Up and out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, almost like physics, I dare say. But yeah, so I was like, well, I'm going to have to wallop you, and it's going to be probably in the face or the throat area or the head. And he was like, fine. So, and I fucking creamed him, dude. I ain't going to lie. I hit him hard. But man, that fucking bump. The crowd just was like, they thought he was dead.
And he landed it so perfectly.
Oh, it literally looked unplanned. Like that's how like vicious it looked as a fan watching it. Like even watching it back, I still go, ooh. Because it's like, if you slow it down and see where I hit him square, like right where your nose meets your forehead. And I fucking hit him.
You could have broke his nose.
Yeah. No, but he took it like a champ, man. He's awesome. Paul's great. And another guy they could have did so much more with. But yeah, I always loved working with Paul. But yeah, that was pretty awesome. Even like all these years later, looking back on it, because that was 2005, I think.
There's
20 years ago.
There's so many people during that era where you can, what you just said, that sentence applies to them. There's so much more they could have done with that person.
Yeah, it's a shame because like nowadays, I think wrestling's so oversaturated that it's like a guy like me or a guy like Paul, we would have been top stars at any of the other companies at that time if there were so many other options. But yeah, it was pretty much just WWE, and that was it.
Well, it's a tough era, right? Because WCW had just got bought out.
Yeah.
So now you have like the roster was stacked in WWE before that. The roster was stacked in WCW. Well, put them together.
Yeah.
It's not enough room for everybody.
No. And that's part of the problem. And like I said, I'm a walking character. Like I'm not your average run-of-the-mill Joe Blow that's, out on the street. You just pass by and don't think anything of. When I walk places or go places with my wife always laughs. She's like, I can't believe the way people look at you. Like, I don't notice it.
Well, how can they not?
So I'm saying, it's like.
But you're also like, you're a larger than life personality.
Well.
Like from the second you walked in here, it's just big energy and a big hug. Like.
Well, we do it big in Nesquehoning.
How many people live there?
I think about 3,500 people. We do have one stoplight.
One stoplight?
Yeah.
How many gas stations?
There's a few now.
Okay.
But when I was growing up, just one, two, Turkey Hill and another one at the end of town.
One stoplight.
Yeah, it's funny because like as a kid, my mom and dad didn't really drive me anywhere. But like as an athlete and being a recognizable athlete where I grew up, like I'd hitchhike everywhere. So as like a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, I'm going all over the place hitchhiking.
Well, and I get it because when you're driving your car, like, hey, is that Gene?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's small town USA. Four towns actually made up my high school. So that's how, like, not rural, but how, like, smaller, like, it's typical small town USA. Everybody knew everybody, like, the whole 9 yards. But it was great because, like, in that time frame when I was growing up, like, you had your buddies you hung out with. You weren't on your phone all the time. You weren't on the computer all the time. Like, we actually went out and did stuff. Shooting hoops, wiffle ball, chase tag. We were always doing something. So I'm glad I grew up where I did because that helped my athletics, overall. Because when you're playing kickball, wiffle ball, chase tag, running through cemeteries, jumping over tombstones and stuff, you have no choice but to get better athletically running and jumping.
Yeah.
I mean, the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it.
And isn't it such a funny thing when you're a kid? It's like, who's the fastest? Like that is such an important thing when you're like 10.
Well, we played a lot of Nerf football, and the street in front of our house, the one telephone pole was the end zone. The other telephone pole was the end zone. And it's funny, like talking about that, like trying to, run to the end zone, to the telephone pole to beat your buddy, score a touchdown in Nerf football.
Yeah.
And then like you see a car coming and car! And everybody would just stand there waiting for a car to go by. All right. And it's just like, it was so cool. Like I loved growing up there. It was great. And my parents were awesome. Like all they ever asked me was, don't get arrested and pass your classes in school. That's literally all they ever told me.
Man.
And, never made me do this, never made me do that. Like I had one friend, man, he'd be scared to go home if he didn't get all A's on his report card. It's like, nothing like putting your kid under that kind of pressure at 16.
Yeah.
But my parents were awesome. Never busted my balls about anything. Like if I was somewhere and I wasn't getting home, if I called and said, hey, I'm staying at, so-and-so's house. Okay, thanks. Like as long as they knew I wasn't in trouble or, failing out of school. Yeah. So, it was a good area to grow up in back in those days.
What are you doing for work there now?
I'm partnered with a buddy of mine. We have a Priority One surplus shop in Hamburg, Pennsylvania. We do like military survival stuff, outdoor gear, ammo, mags, a lot of stuff like for the outdoorsy people.
You look like the exact guy who would own that kind of store.
Well, it started, my buddy started it 13 years ago now, and his son's an Army Ranger. So when I got involved with it, his son was leaving to go to the Army. So it just kind of happened. It's kind of weird because I was doing some other stuff, and I have a degree in hotel restaurant management. So he knew I did the management thing. So he's like, hey man, you want to get involved in the store? Come run the store, blah, blah, blah. I was like, sure. And then that, one thing led to another. Now, pretty much involved with it from, operational standpoint. It's weird. Like if you would have told me 20 years ago that I'd be involved in a surplus shop, I'd have been like, what? Like wasn't on my radar.
Yeah.
So when it kind of fell into my lap, I was like, oh, this is cool. Because my brother was in the honor guard. He was in the Army and did like driving around the president and all that kind of stuff. So
wow.
Yeah. And that's like pretty exclusive. You got to be a certain height, a certain weight. You can't do this, you can't do that. Like, physical, like so many push-ups, so many sales, blah, blah, blah. And that's what my brother did. So it's cool. And then when we did the Tribute to the Troops show when I was with WWE, like that was a real eye-opener, man, just to see the way the guys live over there and the sacrifices they're making so we could do this. We're sitting here talking about,
Batman.
Wrestling.
Yeah.
And Batman and kicking babies.
Yeah.
While they're over there living fort to a tent, defending our freedom. So
yeah, I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah. So that's kind of my way of, giving back, thanking, however you want to phrase it.
Yeah.
But my dad was in the Air Force, and my Uncle Joe was in, I think he was in the Army as well. He was a dog handler. So like pretty much everybody in my family's been in the military. And then, just kind of, it's kind of weird how it just happened with all the stuff, like overlapping and meshing. Like my brother, my dad, and then his son, like Army Ranger. It's kind of, it's kind of fascinating to me. They say everything happens for a reason, So it's kind of like, just kind of happened.
What's the hot selling item at the surplus store?
Ammo.
Okay.
We sell a lot of ammo, magazines, backpacks, a lot of tactical gear. Because people are into the prepping. So we get a lot of preppers. The go bag's a big thing, like a 1 day go bag, a 3 day go bag, a week, so like that kind of stuff. That's probably the best overall selling items that we have.
And you're done with wrestling now?
No, I still wrestle here and there. I just got stem cell shots in my knee though on March 29th. I've been dealing with a little bit of a meniscus issue. So I went down to the great people at Life Med Institute in Maryland, and they gave me an injection with that and did some vitamin infusion with the wife. And it's freaking amazing, dude. That stuff, I don't know, like the science behind it.
Yeah.
But I've had the best freaking workouts the last few weeks since I went down there. It's
and no more pain?
It's still sore and stiff, but like just like chest workout, shoulder workout, like,
jeez,
it's crazy, dude.
I keep hearing this, but I haven't done it myself.
You got to try it. But the one that I refer people to and go to is the Life Med Institute. They're in Baltimore, and man, I'm very skeptical of things the older I get, and like you see these stem cell places in like Mexico or some crazy place, and you're like, eh. So I wasn't really expecting much. And then when I went there, man, the place is amazing. Like they're just amazing. Like everybody's so friendly, so nice, so helpful. Like I can't say enough nice things about the place. I couldn't believe how like awesome it was. It's crazy.
I got to find one in my area.
Yeah. Where do you live at?
I'm in Southern California.
Yeah, they're mostly on the East Coast. They just opened up a new one in Philly, I think.
But I know that like and you might know this better than me, outside of the US, you can have more stem cells.
I'm not sure about the volume of stem cells.
I think that's it. So like a lot of people go to Tijuana or they'll go to like Colombia.
Yeah. Well, I don't really want to fly all the way down there just for
I get it. I could drive to Tijuana in a few hours.
Yeah.
So maybe that's my move.
But definitely look into it. But yeah, so started just trying to do more, you know.
So you're having a handful of matches a year.
Give or take.
Yeah.
Like I could be as busy as I want to be.
Sure.
But
how busy do you want to be?
It's the question.
Yeah.
But with the shop and guys on vacation and, you know, shop comes first. So I got to make sure, you know, I got coverage at the shop before I could go play wrestler. So.
How did this recent return on Raw come about?
I just happened to, Davari's one of my best friends. I traveled with him at WWE. He's one of the road agents now. So he was like, hey, are you stopping by the Wilkes-Barre show? I'm like, well, I wasn't planning to, but are you going to be there? He's like, yeah. I said, all right, we'll take a ride up. So me and the wife took a ride up, and we're just sitting in catering with Davari shooting the shit. And John Cone comes up to me. He's like, hey, they have an idea for a backstage segment with
Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green. And I was like, oh, cool. And I've known Chelsea forever. She's, you know, back with Pops even. She would come to those shows. And Matt, I know Matt forever. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Plus, I think she's awesome. Like, the character's great.
Oh, she's crushing it.
Like, it's just tremendous.
Yeah.
So I was like, hell yeah, I'll do it. And then, like, literally one take, and that was it. Yeah. It was crazy, dude. She's just so good. It's funny. Like, just trying to stay in character is half the battle sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
Because it was funny.
Are you under a Legends deal with WWE?
No, I wish. But no.
I'll put it out there.
Well, you just did.
They're signing a lot of people to Legends deals.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not one to like blow my own horn or walk around like, oh, you know, like even at the shop, like unless someone says, hey, are you so-and-so? Like, then I'll talk about it, but I don't like.
Like you fixed your teeth.
I went to a good dentist. It wasn't Isaac Yankee.
There's history there.
It's funny how many people thought that was real too. Because there was a lot of people that thought the baby was a real baby. I'm like,
no, come on.
Dead serious.
You can very clearly see that it's a baby doll.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Come on, could you imagine
I'm telling you,
kicking
dude,
an actual human infant on TV? People thought that was a real baby.
I don't want to by any means talk down about wrestling fans. But there is a small majority of them that see things on TV and whatever they see you think is real.
Come on.
I'm telling you. As I'm sitting here right now with this amazing beard and ruggedly handsome good looks, I'm telling you, it's crazy. And I'm just like, it's a TV show. It's fake. We're not kicking real babies.
You can't kick a baby.
Come on, man.
I have a baby right now. I look at him and I'm like,
Yeah,
I can't imagine anything hurting him.
Well, then again, I never would have imagined doing baby punting competitions either. You know, anything could happen in this crazy world of wrestling.
What a life.
But yeah, it's crazy, literally. But yeah, so, and then like the other thing you get a lot was, how do you guys get the fake blood? Are the chairs real? Like, yeah, everything's real. It's not fake. I'm still hitting somebody. If I pick you up over my shoulder and throw you down onto the floor, it's going to hurt. I always equate it to, like, because, you know, we're snow guys. We grew up in snow regions.
Yeah.
I always equate it to slipping on the ice.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because you're always like, you're not ready for it, but then you hit and you're like, ooh. That's like how I equate it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I always tell the story when I was a kid, I had a paper route. I was 12 years old, walking up these steps in the winter, put the paper in the door, start going down the steps, second or third step, wipe out all the way down. And I had my paper bag and I stopped to make sure no one saw me, just to look around. Because, you know, you can't have anybody see you falling down the steps. So I was like, I got up. I was like, So that's like kind of what I equated to. Like you're just all of a sudden, because I think somebody did a scientific study on it one time and it says like a wrestler in a year's time is like 500 car accidents.
I believe
that's like what it equates to with the pounding.
Yeah, a lot of whiplash.
Yeah. And it's, you know, it's not something you could prepare for. Like when you first get into wrestling and you're starting to train, like, because in real life, where do you ever just fall flat onto your back on purpose?
Yeah, you don't.
Exactly. So getting into that mind frame of like, okay, like I'm more of a visual guy. I try to visualize things. And like the first time you ever take a bump, you're like, doesn't feel good. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you get jarred and like, fuck, it actually hurts.
And yet somehow your body gets
and you just
used
keep doing
to
it. Yeah.
Same with running the ropes the first time.
I was just going to say that. Running the ropes, man, like I was black and blue for weeks.
Yeah.
And like at the Samoan camp, we had to do 1,000 bodyweight squats before we even got the privilege of getting in the ring. So you wouldn't see a lot of guys around after those.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And then from there, you get into the ring, and that's when you started learning how to bump. And then you got to learn how to run corner to corner and the ropes. And like, it's like people think wrestling is so easy and this and that. It ain't easy. It's hard. It's probably harder than anything I did in football times 10, because I don't have like the pads on. You're not hitting someone straight ahead. You're literally falling down over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Like, it's just crazy.
Well, I think if you guys can make it look easy, you're doing your job right.
Well, we're theoretically performing artists, I guess you could say. But I was just always like, I always wanted to make everything as good. Like I said earlier, I'm very competitive, and I always wanted everything to be like great. And that's why I never really watched my stuff back, because I'm too critical of my stuff. Like, it would bother me for days if I saw something that I should have did better or could have did better, or, you know, just kind of how I am.
How did you prepare for the choke slam off the stage with Kane?
That was pretty fun, actually. Because, you know, as kids, we used to do the Nesquehoning plunge. Remember that?
The what?
The Nesquehoning plunge. I better get a free.
Oh, the Nesquehoning plunge.
I better get some Nestle out of this. Yeah, where you're standing at the pool with the Nestle iced tea and you fall straight back.
Yes.
That's how I envisioned it.
That's right. And then it would
Remember that?
Yes, and then it would be a big giant splash of Nestle.
Exactly.
Yes.
So
wow, that is a deep cut.
There you go. That's how I envisioned it. I'm like, well, I used to do those in the pool, so that's how I'm going to do it.
Yeah, because the Nestle was so refreshing on a hot day.
Exactly. Just like falling through a table from 15 feet. Very refreshing. As the wind's blowing by your ears. I felt like I'd bitten into a York peppermint patty.
Another reference.
There's no off position on the Genius switch, Chris. Just saying.
Is that genius spelled Gene?
Yes. I'm glad you picked up on that. You're a pretty smart guy. You're okay. I'm liking you a little more today.
So all you did was just fall backwards? Is that what you're saying?
We had walked through it, and it was, you know, duck my line, pop me, duck another line, and then I end up at the stage, and I'm kind of like, oh. And then I turn back, and there he is. And it was basically just Nestle plunge time. Like, I jumped so we could get enough height to go out, because I think the tables, if I remember, were about 6 or 8 feet from the stage. So we had to kind of jump out a little bit. So I just remember like tucking my chin and just jumping out. Yeah, there's no way to really prepare for it. You can't practice it. It's like, that's the thing about WWE, man. It was like, you get one shot, either fuck it up or you make it amazing. Like, literally.
Yeah.
Because it was live TV, and that's just how it was. So.
Well, you made it amazing.
That's kind of, you know, my mindset was, man, I've always had the positive mindset. Like, this is going to be great. Like, I always expected myself to be good.
What's the storyline that you think they could have ran with more for you?
Well, definitely the ECW character. Because, like I said, I was squashing like everybody. I broke Bob Holly's arm, put him out of commission. And at the time, he was one of the, you know, the WWE tough guys, and a real strong character. So that gave me some push. And then, you know, Lashley, Punk, you know, everybody.
You did something with Cena right before you were let go.
Are you referring to the lumberjack match?
No, didn't you have a very short match or feud with Cena?
From what I had heard, they were gonna do that, but I don't really, honestly, I don't remember. Don't remember that one. I remember having a lumberjack match with him, but that was when I was still on Raw.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, I don't remember the ECW stuff with him. But it was weird. Like I said, they flew me up to the office, ran all new vignettes. I'm on this turntable thing spinning around. I'm all oiled up and creepy as hell. And it was funny because they're putting that on ECW. Like, you know how they say coming soon?
Yeah.
And I literally debuted that night when they
Not
had that
soon.
thing on. Yeah. I don't think there's ever been a debut like that.
No.
Now that I think about it. Coming soon, and yeah, there he is.
I mean, that they didn't lie.
Yeah. They're like, oh, just go out tonight. I'm like, okay. Yeah, it was like kind of a lot of spur of the moment things. But it was fun. Like I enjoyed the character. I just didn't enjoy having to paint my teeth every day.
WWE brought back so many people. Like you'd get let go, and then 2, 3, 4 years later, they'd bring you back. How did that not happen with you?
I don't know. You have to ask them.
Yeah. All right. Next interview.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, I always try to keep myself in good shape and good ring condition. And I mean, at this point in my life, I probably wouldn't ever consider even a part-time schedule. But
What about a one-off at the Royal Rumble?
well, that kind of stuff, absolutely, because it keeps my face out there. You know, it's good for the shop. It's good for, you know, my brand is the good, you know, the way the kids are talking these days. So, but I'm, as you see, man, I haven't changed since I'm a kid. This is me. I've always been like this. I ain't changing now. I ain't gonna ever change. My wife, like I tell her all the time, I'm like, I've been like this for 55 years. I ain't changing now. So, because she hates my driving. I'm like, I've been driving since I'm 14.
She hates your driving?
Can you imagine?
Well, I don't know. I haven't been in
It's
the car
terrible.
with you.
It's terrible. Not my driving. It's terrible that she don't like it. But I tend to have.
What doesn't she like about your driving?
Well, I'm a weaver and an outer, and I hate slow pokes. If there's a slow poke, I'll pass them on a double lane. I don't care. I don't have time for that shit.
Maybe this is why you need the Batmobile.
I need the Batcopter.
Ooh.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I love helicopters.
Yeah.
But yeah, Batcopter would be cool.
You just have this positive outlook on life, which I think it's not common, especially in this day and age.
Well, sorry to hear that, but like I said, man, I'm not to get emotional.
What is it? What are you thinking of?
I need to get my lovely Batman shirt wet. Just I always just wanted to. Where I grew up, it was work at the factory, get your check, go to the bar. Like that was the thing. I just I knew that there was a bigger purpose. And to be able to do this kind of stuff is, you know, not everybody gets to do it. And I was, you know, small town. Wasn't supposed to you know, wasn't supposed to do all this stuff. And I just feel like, you know, there was never, people where I grew up never wanted to get out and see, like, we always joke around about, call it the Panther Valley bubble. Like, they didn't want to get out of the bubble. And for as long as I can remember, I always just wanted to get out of the bubble. But I always get emotional talking about it. I don't know why. But like I said, I was the kid that would tell everybody, you know. And I didn't have the wealthy family or the, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I always had to earn what I got and, you know, work harder.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just still crazy to me how I'm just, you know, I look at myself as a guy that chased a dream.
Yeah. Yeah, you should be really proud of yourself.
It's just it's still weird to me. The way people react just because of that. Like, just to affect people's life on that level. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's something a lot of guys take for granted. But, you know, I'm proud to do all the stuff I've done and have that effect on people to where, you know, it affected their life. It's crazy to me how, like, just being a wrestler, people will be like, you know, so enamored and like, so it's just like the star things is kind of crazy to me sometimes. Like, just, I've had people come up to me and like, oh, you know, my mom was your, you know, biggest fan, and, you know, we watched wrestling together, and she's not here anymore. It's just, it's crazy to me, the connection that wrestling fans have with us.
What do you think it was that allowed you to get out of that bubble? A lot of people have a dream, but not everybody accomplishes it.
I think just determination. Like, I'm one of those kind of people that if you tell me I can't do something, I'll work to my dying breath to prove you wrong. Stubbornness, no, you know, not taking no for an answer. I mean, I always knew I could do it. Like, I always had confidence in myself. I always knew I could do what I wanted to do. And I just wanted to get out in the world and do, I knew there was a bigger purpose to, you know, to what I was doing.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I said, man, people get caught up in the 9 to 5 and then they go out drinking on the weekend. And that's like the way it was where I grew up. Like, people didn't have anything to look forward to. I don't think. Like, to me, that's not a life. You know, I didn't want to be that guy. And I just always remember, like I said, as a kid, I always wanted to be a professional athlete. And I always knew after football I was going to get into wrestling. That was like my plan. So it's just crazy to me that you know, how everything worked out exactly how I said it's going to.
That's beautiful. There's like that crabs in the bucket mentality sometimes in a small town. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know, one crab starts to crawl out and the other crabs go, no, come back in here.
Yeah. Well, it's like, you know, where I grew up, old coal mining town, you know, coal's pretty much trying to make a resurgence in my area, but, you know, let's be realistic. The coal companies kind of left.
Yeah.
But, so that was the thing back in the day. It was the coal region. You worked hard. You went home, got your pay, same thing the next day. I'm not that type of person. I have a short attention span. I need to be stimulated with other things. But I just always, in the back of my mind, I knew I could do it. I was going to do it. And it was just a matter of time until I did it.
Yeah.
I had $10 in my pocket when I got signed at WWE. And I was borrowing money to get supplements and, gym memberships and stuff. And, it's just it's hard to put into words, but nobody, not 100% of the people, but I don't think anybody thought I was ever going to do any of the stuff I said I was going to do. You know what I'm saying? Especially from where I came from. And the most rewarding thing to me is just being able to prove everybody wrong.
Yeah.
Sadly, but it's a big motivator.
Well, it's also proving yourself right.
Yeah.
Like if you had this in you,
Yeah.
that you already saw it, you knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time. You proved yourself right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, I'm from a small town. Another funny story. When I first got announced on Raw, Lillian came up to me and she's like, "Well, where are you from?" And I'm like, "I'm from Nesquehoning." She's like, "Where the hell's that?" I'm like, "It's in Pennsylvania." She's like, "We'll have to clear that with Vince." So we go into Vince's office and she's like, "Mr. McMahon, where would you like Gene to be announced from?" And he looks at me and goes, "Well, where are you from?" And I'm like, "I'm from Nesquehoning, Pennsylvania." And he looks at Lillian and he goes, "Well, there you have it, Lillian." It's almost too funny. You couldn't even write it. Because I'm like, yeah. Because where I grew up, it's Philly or Allentown.
Sure.
Because the Nasty Boys are from Whitehall. They're right up the street from me. I'm not saying Allentown. I'm not from Allentown.
Yep.
I'm from Nesquehoning. So that's what's cool to me. That's on the video games. It's on my cards. It's on all my shit.
That's cool.
So it'll always be there forever.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing about it. I'll be dead and gone. And somebody's going to be sitting somewhere talking about, remember that guy that kicked the baby? It's just crazy to me. It's kind of, I still get emotional, obviously, talking about it, but it's just I
mean, you did it.
It's crazy.
What a story you have. You did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this. I'm so glad we finally made this thing happen.
Yeah, me too. I wish I wouldn't have got tears all over my Batman shirt.
No, I mean,
I get,
I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to realize that what you were saying means so much to you. I got tears in my eyes.
It's, I just wish, I used to go to my grandmother's to watch wrestling. I'd tell her. I'd tell her that you're going to watch me do that someday. But I was wrestling in Japan and she passed away. So she never got to see me.
I'm so sorry.
But I know she was watching.
Yeah, I'm sure she still saw it.
Stinks. So I'd always watch at her house. I'm going to be on her someday.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately she didn't get to see it, but, just stinks. But that's, it was she could have saw me.
I think when someone sees someone who's as big as you in touch with their emotions makes people realize that it's okay to show your emotions?
Yeah, well, I'm definitely an emotional guy, but that works for me and against me sometimes. I'm a little too passionate sometimes when it comes to arguing or proving a point. Just ask my wife, she'll tell me. But no, it's just I'm living a dream, man.
You certainly are.
I've done things that I've dreamt about and that people will never get to do, and I've seen things that I imagined as a kid. Like I got to go to the pyramids in Egypt because of wrestling. I've been to Hawaii, Japan, saw the pipeline. Like I'd never be able to do that without wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I can't imagine, hey, you want to go to Egypt and check out the pyramids? Like I would have never done that.
Yeah.
Like without wrestling. So it's cool to be able to, fulfill all those, bucket list items. And I got to meet a lot of cool people along the way. Friends with got that. I was on stage for Ozfest with Ozzy. It was like, how do you beat that?
Yeah.
I'm a 12-year-old kid walking around with a boombox. I freaking listen to Diary of a Madman so much I wore off the letters of the cassette. And there I am on stage with him, like as an adult, only because of wrestling, because of WWE. Like, how do you beat that?
Yeah.
Like, that's just the coolest thing to me. And there I was as a 12-year-old sitting in my yard, throwing the tennis ball off the wall, catching it with my baseball glove, listening to Ozzy on the boombox. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
From freaking Nesquehoning. Who would have thunk it?
So
this guy.
The question I ask at the end, gratitude means so much to me. And I have such an appreciation for the things that we have versus focusing on the things that we don't have. What are 3 things in your life that you're grateful for as we sit here right now?
Ooh. I'm grateful for everything. That's tough. 3 things to pick out. Ooh. Well, my health, my wife, and still having my mom around. Probably the 3 top things. But my dog Hondo's probably a close 4th.
Wow.
I got a big giant St. Bernard at home waiting for me. So he's
Hondo?
He misses daddy. Yeah, we named him after the John Wayne film.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like John Wayne too, so. But he's a 200-pound St. Bernard.
I just flew here out of John Wayne Airport.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, in Santa Ana, California.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's my big baby. Because we don't have any kids or anything, so he's my fluffy, furry kid.
200 pounds?
Oh yeah.
Weighs
If
more
my
than,
freaking phone would ever been able to work.
weighs more than me.
We actually rescued him. So he was a little rough around the edges when we first got him. But he's a big teddy bear.
Oh, you'll have to show me
pull up
after.
some pictures then if my phone allows me to. But yeah, so they're probably the top 3 things.
We'll make it 4 for Hondo.
But yeah, I'm just I think of all the abuse I've put my body through over the last 45 years. Because I started playing football when I was 10, went straight through till I was 25, and I got into wrestling when I was 26. So for 45 years, I've been pounding the shit out of myself.
Yeah.
So I was, all things considered, I still feel pretty damn good. And I'm, able to function. I'm able to do what I want to do. There's always discomfort or something, but, like I said, all things considered, I'm feeling pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And,
And you look great. Like you're not walking around hunched over.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad when you see some of the older guys. It just, it makes me wonder, I guess wonder's a bad choice of words, but like in the scope of things, is it all really worth it? And then I think to myself, well, that one fan that'll say, hey man, you were my favorite and you did, like that makes it all worth it. Because to me, that's what's important. The entertainment of the fans and making sure that they're happy at the end of the day because they're spending their hard-earned money to come and see us perform.
Yeah.
They could spend their money on anything. There's a million things to spend your money on these days.
Yeah.
But they chose to come see me wrestle. So it's to this day still flattering. And like, I love my fans. And I think a lot of guys get lost in the concept that there would be no pro wrestling or Snitsky or anybody without the fans. So I never refuse an autograph. I never refuse a picture. It's just not my thing, man. Because I can remember when I was a fan. And if somebody was like that to me, I'd be like, what a dick.
Yeah.
And I probably wouldn't be their fan. So I think a lot of guys lose that. But
yeah.
I just want to enjoy life and have fun. And I tell my wife every day, I'm like, man, life's too short. You gotta have fun. That's what it ultimately comes down to. Because you're always going to have bills. You're always going to have a car payment. You're always going to have something, Don't dwell on it. Just have fun, man.
And that's what you're doing.
Every day. Except for when I'm on planes that are on fire. But yeah, no. But yeah, I'm thrilled to be on, man. It's an honor. You've done pretty many of all the top guys. And I've been planning on this one for a while, like we talked about.
And you've been on the list for a while, so we finally did it.
No, it's cool, man. I see all the work you do, and I'm happy for you with your success and all that kind of. You're killing it with the podcast, and
thank you.
I'm like, man, it's gonna be cool to be on. So, thanks for having me.
No, I appreciate you.
Yeah, it's not your fault. You finally realized that. Great guest.